I'm Lynn Miller, 38 years old. I used to live with my husband and 3 kids in a house we bought a few years ago. But that's all in the past tense now. 10 days ago, I put an end to that life. The reason was my husband's affair. For about 6 months, my husband, who hardly ever came home, had been living semi-cohabiting with his mistress in a rented apartment. Here's the divorce papers. I can't take it anymore. I can't keep up with your childlike selfish thoughts anymore. Got it. Take the kids with you. Consider the car and the house as your alimony. Bye. Just like that, my husband nonchalantly moved to his mistress's place. And now, in front of me, there are 69 missed calls on my smartphone from my husband, or rather, my ex-husband. I know, yet I ignore. My resentment grows with each endless call. My first meeting with my ex-husband was at a mixer, which I wasn't fond of. I had no interest, but I couldn't ignore my coworker who came begging because they were short of people, so I reluctantly attended and met him there. I fell in love at first sight. What? Would you go out with me on your next day off? No. We just met. My husband was very forward with his expressions of love. From the mixer, his enthusiasm was overwhelming, and I was successfully wooed. His grandiose expressions of love continued even after we started dating. 2 years into our relationship, he proposed in a suite at a luxury hotel on Christmas. The scenario was so cliché like a drama that I was embarrassed but nodded yes to his maximum effort. A wedding and reception at the same hotel, followed by a honeymoon in Europe. Once again, a cliché storyline that made our friends bless us while chuckling. Are you sure about this, even now? What? Don't you think your husband has the no need to feed a caught fish attitude? Why? This whole cliché, lovey-dovey, wealthy scenario seems too familiar. Oh, that would be troubling. But can this situation really go on forever? Even this house. You're not a full-fledged adult until you buy a detached house after you get married. What era is that from? And such a big house in the city center, no matter how you look at it, isn't that a bit much? Isn't that value system and mindset kinda off? During a lunch break, my coworker and close friend Julie, half jokingly and half seriously, gave me a reality check. At that time, I shrugged it off, thinking there was no way, reflecting on the 2.5 years from when we started dating to our marriage. But, little did I know that Julie's words would become reality. Right after we got married, my ex-husband's behavior started to change. Before marriage, whoever was available would cook. And we would take turns doing things like picking each other up from drinking parties or taking care of each other when sick. We supported and helped each other in our lives living alone. But as soon as our honeymoon ended and our new life began, my husband made it clear. I'll say this first, I won't do anything related to the house. What? I'm working outside. I don't have spare time to spend on household stuff. But I work too. Once you have kids, you're gonna take maternity leave or work shorter hours, right? So basically, you should take care of the house stuff. I never thought I'd hear such a thing from my ex-husband. I thought he was someone who believed in building a home together, supporting each other as we always had. Moreover, his once overwhelming expressions of love disappeared, and soon there were no anniversaries, not even Christmas or birthdays. Still, on his birthday, I cooked dinner and waited, but he showed no sign of coming home. And when the date changed, he came home drunk and in a good mood. Huh? You're still up. Today is your birthday. I thought we'd celebrate, so I made dinner and waited. I didn't ask for that. What? I didn't ask for that, and I definitely don't want to celebrate my birthday with you. But we celebrated together last year and the year before, so I thought. Huh? How long are you gonna stay in this lovey-dovey phase? We're married now, we're not lovers or anything. Stop wasting money. Seriously. Sorry. Enough. Crying is so annoying. Just know, from now on, there are no more anniversaries or celebrations, so don't get carried away. With that, my husband went off to the bathroom, leaving behind a table with a meal that had gone cold. Feeling empty, I carefully packed the food into containers, one by one. Since then, every day has been filled with moments that painfully remind me of my best friend's words. In no time, my husband lost interest in me, not even glancing at my face, eyes, or presence. Yet, as a married couple, it seemed we hadn't lost the goal of starting a family. Everyone around is having kids, I can't be the only one losing, he muttered as if making babies was a competition, which left me dumbfounded. In the end, for my husband, a wife, children, and family were just accessories to enhance his appearance. Why me? Probably because my education, job, and looks passed as suitable accessories for him. By the time I realized this, it was already too late. How could a child come into this loveless marriage? Regardless of my feelings, my husband reached out to me. What? Why? What? It's obvious, isn't it? We're making a baby. You're joking, right? Huh? You must be the one joking. Isn't it a wife's duty to have children with her husband? Once caught in his physically superior grip, there was no escape for me, it was a path to hell. Whether I felt it or not didn't matter to him. To him, this was a convenient way to release his desires, doubling as an attempt at procreation. Especially when he came home drunk. Hey! Stop it. You're drunk, aren't you? Huh? A wife shouldn't refuse her husband. You smell of alcohol and cologne. You don't excite me, that's why those pretty girls have to get me in the mood before sending me off. Don't get cheeky with me. It was truly hell. A painful and smelly intimacy that brought no pleasure. And somehow, we ended up with 3 children. Finally, 3 kids, mission accomplished. That's what my husband said, showing up in the hospital room hours after the birth of our 3rd child. What do you mean? It's simple. 3 kids mean we've contributed to population growth. We won't get criticized by society anymore. Huh? You really have low awareness. Being above others is what counts for a human. I hate being below anyone. That's why I won't lose in the number of children. Then wouldn't people with more kids be contributing more? Huh? Given our income, we're doing plenty. I want to secure my own time and money. That's why 3 and the mission is complete. Can you understand this indescribable feeling? He says he doesn't want to be beneath anyone, yet he settles for 3 children. Such a petty, worthless man. There are plenty of couples out there who earn more and have more children. Conversely, there are those who, for various reasons, can't have their own kids but still look after others' children or adopt. He's just following his own arbitrary rules to conclude his mission. It's me who has to bear and birth the children. It was a mission without any agreement from me. The words from my husband, just after giving birth, were incredibly hard to process. And then he nonchalantly dropped an even more shocking statement. Oh, and by the way, I won't be coming home for a while. Why? Huh? The kids are too noisy, I can't sleep. So I'll secure a place to sleep near the office. Where near the office? Huh? That's irrelevant. It is relevant. The kids were just born. What if something happens? I can't do it alone. It's just food and diapers now that you don't have a big belly, right? But I've heard your mother hasn't been feeling well recently. If something happens, you can handle it. They'll contact you, not me. Mom prefers you over me anyway. But, she's your mother. Don't make me say it again. You're my woman. A wife is supposed to work for her husband. Work. I'm providing money, aren't I? That's just an excuse. Huh? I know, about the woman you're with. Oh. And why would you think that? Why do I think? You've been coming home reeking of perfume without even trying to hide it. Lately, there's a different scent. It smells good, doesn't it? Is it that noticeable? And very considerately, there's a lipstick mark in a visible place. You're really possessive, you know. You're terrible. Say whatever you want, but you're not gonna leave me, right? You just gave birth, and now you have 3 kids. How are you gonna raise them all by yourself? How am I gonna raise them? Even if my husband only contributes financially, having the income of 2 people was significant for raising 3 children. And more than anything, I didn't want to create a fatherless environment for my children just because of parental selfishness. See? Whether I'm with another woman or commit a crime, you won't leave me. So just give up and focus on raising the kids. I'll keep bringing in the money. You're the worst. Say whatever you want. You can't do anything anyway. Oh, should I give you the signed divorce papers? But you'll never file them. Waving his hand nonchalantly, my husband left the hospital room and, the following week, casually handed me the filled-out divorce papers when he returned home. Holding my child, when I looked at that piece of paper, something that had been locked away inside me began to stir. And now, 6 months later, here we are. My phone has been constantly notifying me of incoming calls. How many times has it rung now? Maybe it's time. I reached for it and glanced at the name on the screen. Hello? It's been 10 days, have you calmed down yet? Hey! You! What do you mean, have you calmed down? Don't mess with me. What's the problem? What do you mean what? You know everything. So, what is it? I can't see where this is going. I have a 6-month-old baby here who just fell asleep, so could you make it quick? I'm irritated. If you're not gonna talk, I'm hanging up. Don't hang up! I'll talk, so don't hang up! Then hurry up and say it. You kept the caregiving issue a secret. The cause of my ex-husband's anger was the caregiving situation of my in-laws. Is that what this is about? Huh? I wasn't keeping it a secret. I did mention they seemed to be in poor health, didn't I? But you never said they needed caregiving. Really? Well, I didn't know that either. I didn't hear about it. Right after filing for divorce, I got married to her and went back home, only to be yelled at by my parents. What did they say? How could you abandon your parents? Bring that woman and come back here right away. Well, isn't that nice? Your father and mother are welcoming her, aren't they? You're kidding. Why would I be happy to go back to that countryside and live with my parents and take care of them? Why don't you ask your beloved new wife? Huh? A wife is supposed to work and act for her husband, right? I'm not your wife anymore, and I have no obligation to listen to your troubles. This isn't a consultation. I'll sue you. Huh? If you think you can sue over something like that, go ahead. You. On the contrary, I have plenty of dirt on you that I could use to sue. Should I go ahead and do that? Maybe I should also make some claims against your geeky new wife. Huh? Compensation, perhaps? You. That woman, she's a model, right? I thought I saw her somewhere before, and it turned out she was a web model for our company. What? Oh, wondering how I know about her. I paid a detective agency to investigate. What? What are you doing? I used my own money, and I don't think I need to take criticism from someone who's been splurging on his affair partner, right? He probably never imagined that I would go as far as hiring a detective agency. There's silence on the other end. How much do you know? What? About her, how much do you know? I know pretty much everything that can be investigated. Her name, job, address, family, and social circles, almost everything. Seriously. Do you want me to tell you the address of the house you're living in now? What? Forest Hills, Queens. Enough. Just stop. Ah, I wanted to say it. You're living there with her now, aren't you? Shut up. Man, you're the worst. So, about the woman, she'll have to quit her job with us. What? The web modeling job I mentioned earlier. After I told the boss the whole story, he said it's a compliance violation and they're probably already contacting the modeling agency. You're kidding. It's true. And you know, you're really the worst. While waving around the mission of having 3 kids, you were hitting up dating parties right after getting married, weren't you? And that's where you met her at a party, right? So what? Your usual defiance? Oh, you never thought it was wrong in the first place, right? A wife is supposed to work and move for her husband, as long as you bring in the money, right? That's. You probably pushed and went all out just like you used to, right? Desperate enough to make others cringe. And now you're planning to do the same with your new wife, aren't you? What? I've got reports from the detective agency that you're still showing up at dating parties. What? My best friend was right. You're the type of guy who doesn't feed the fish he catches. You won't feed your new wife, just dump all the household stuff on her, and then go out hunting for new prey. It's like you're enjoying a game. My ex-husband fell silent at my words. He really hasn't changed at all since then. The divorce was off the table only because he imposed his mysterious rule of having 3 children, but in reality, he kept scattering bait outside. I'm sure once he had pushed and secured his prey, he would discard them and find new ones. It's been an irresponsible game he's been playing all along. You're just unhappy because you don't want to return to the countryside, right? What? You won't be able to play around if you go back to the countryside. That's why you're upset, isn't it? If you knew that, why didn't you say anything before we got divorced? Because I genuinely didn't know they needed care. Don't lie. Besides, even if I had known and told you, would your current situation be any different? What? Even if we had talked about it before the divorce, the situation of going back to the countryside with the family wouldn't change, right? What, did you think you could stay in the city alone? Well, that's right. You were planning to leave your wife in the countryside to take care of the parents while you stayed in the city under the guise of work. I had no choice. Look, even if we had that conversation back then, I had a job too. If I hadn't worked, we wouldn't have been able to pay off the house loan early. Do you realize that? You bragged about giving up the house instead of alimony, but don't forget I was paying for it too, as it was a joint loan. Shut up. It's perfect, isn't it? I could never quit my job and move to the countryside, but that woman, now that she's getting fired from the modeling agency, you can take her back to the countryside. What? Fired? Well, yes. She got involved with an employee's husband and ended up marrying him. Not only that, but it seems she was messing around with several of our employees too. What? She was an advertising model, you know, not exactly rolling in dough. Our company is a well-known publicly traded company, maybe she thought it was a good target. No. I get you want to deny it, but come on, she easily got involved in an affair and lived with him openly. It's not hard to imagine her messing with other guys. The employees involved are being disciplined too, and she must know she's getting fired. You're joking, right? No joke. She and those involved at our company are facing consequences. Seriously? So, both of you with loose morals should go back to the countryside and do something useful for others. You. Enough. I'm raising an infant here and am perpetually sleep-deprived. I don't have time for your nonsense. If there's nothing else, I'm hanging up. Ignoring whatever my ex-husband was saying, I cut off the call without hesitation. 4 months have passed since then. After putting the kids to bed, I was taking a break in the living room, thinking of watching some videos on my phone when it suddenly notified me of an incoming call. The name on the screen felt somewhat nostalgic. Hello? Hello. Long time no see, how are you? Are you kidding me? What? Are you being sarcastic asking if I'm okay? Huh? Think about our past. Just having this conversation is a compromise on my part. Why do I have to be yelled at by you? Sorry. How many times do you need to learn? If you don't have anything important, I'm hanging up. Wait a minute. So, what is it? She left. What? Riker left me. She left the divorce papers and walked out. Wow, funny. Are you saying you got dumped by your woman? That's hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing. It's ironic how he left us with such arrogance, only to be dumped himself in a few months. Despite my laughter, he didn't try to stop me. I could easily imagine his pitiful state, even though I couldn't see him. That was a good laugh. You're laughing too much. Well, of course, I'm laughing. After all the big talk and leaving us, you got dumped in just 4 months. Shut up. It's not my fault. It's the parents who need care. What? What do you mean? After I called you last time, I explained the situation to her, and she reluctantly agreed to return to the countryside. Well, that's good. I mean, if you were going back, she had no job anyway, so going to the countryside was the only option. But it's not just quitting the job, she's now doing night work because of the compensation and penalty fees. Well, you have to clean up your own mess. With the alimony for you and child support for the kids, I'm stretched thin. That's how it goes. So I decided not to return to the countryside until I could sort out those payments, just earning here and going back only when necessary to help out. Well, that's doable distance-wise. It's just a 2-hour drive. Right? That's what I thought you'd say. I felt uneasy about his statement. Wait, were you expecting her to take care of everything? Of course. I have a job, working every day to bring in money. She was essentially free besides her night job. It's only natural for a wife to work and support her husband. Hearing that, I burst into laughter again. This guy is just too much. Repeating the same mistakes just 4 months later. Really, you've always been someone who can't grow up, haven't you? Huh? Why did we break up again? What did I say? I can't keep up with your childish, selfish thoughts anymore. You remember that, right? You're doing it again now. Huh? When did I do that? I'm working and providing money, and I'm not even asking for kids this time. No. If it's just a selfish contract-like relationship, there's no need to get married. Huh? Marriage is about caring for and respecting each other, aiming to be happy together. Of course, there are fights and disagreements, but there's a fundamental premise before that. That's why we make vows and plan to stay together. But what you're doing isn't a marital or family life, right? I hate to say it, but it feels like you're just buying that person's time and effort with money, like a contract with a housekeeper, only during the times you fancy. And it's getting interrupted by irregularities. In my case, it was about having kids, caregiving, and child rearing. For the woman, it's about caregiving now, right? And she has to care for your parents, whom she doesn't even know, all by herself. Isn't that just hell? My ex-husband must be dumbfounded by my monologue. No matter what I say, he won't understand. Because that's just the kind of person he is. She's lucky, you know. Huh? She realized it in just 4 months and escaped. She's way luckier than I was. How dare you say that to me? I can say it. I don't want to see any girl caught by a guy like you. You. Just file the divorce papers, okay? If you don't act quickly, I'll have my lawyer take care of her. Huh? Are you out of your mind? She's the woman who stole your husband. I don't care anymore. I'm even thankful for how things turned out because I'm too happy with my life now. Being with such a man would have been hell. It's fine, say whatever you want. So, could you open the front door? Huh? For a moment, I couldn't understand what my ex-husband was saying. But, hearing the background noise over the phone, I could guess his actions. Are you, in front of the house? Yeah. Why? I've realized I can't do this without you, I want to come back. Could the words that just shook my eardrums be an illusion? They pass by before my brain can even process them. What do you mean? That's exactly what I mean. Our relationship lasted too long, and I didn't get it at all, but I've realized that you were the one who understood and supported me the most. So, I want us to get back together. He must be desperately stringing together words at the front door. Just imagining it makes me laugh. And before I know it, I'm actually laughing out loud. Why are you laughing? I'm telling you I need you. Open the door quickly. No. I've been made to laugh by you all day today, sorry, but I can't open the door. What? Why not? Your ex-husband is saying let's get back together. At least let me talk. Let me see the kids. No way, no way. Why not? Because we don't live there anymore. What? We've put that house up for sale and now live somewhere else. What the hell? His scream, like a death throe, echoed through the phone, even after I moved it away from my ear. I let my ex-husband's confusion linger. After a while, I confronted him again. Sorry to burst your bubble while you're having a mental breakdown, but let me say this again. There's absolutely no chance of us getting back together. Why not? I've already told you. I'm fed up with your childish selfishness. But people don't change that easily. If you could change, you would have done it long ago. You don't even want to change. It's impossible for someone as irresponsible as you. But in the future. There's no future or anything with you. After I firmly stated my stance, my ex-husband let out a small sigh. Then he dropped another bombshell. Has the house sold already? How much did it sell for? What? Whether it's sold or not, it's none of your business anymore, right? Come on. I lived there with you until recently. Huh? You were hardly ever home. That's quite the spin you're putting on things. Anyway, has it sold? Is it not sold? It's sold. The contract is complete, and all that's left is the handover. Really? How much did it sell for? Why does that matter to you? What's with all the questions? Even if we don't get back together, can you give me some of that money? What? Are you even listening to yourself? I have no choice. If you won't get back together with me, then give me some money. I need it for child support and caregiving. Are you insane? That's like giving you the money that's supposed to come back as child support. Oh, that's a good point. So we could just forget about the child support payments, right? You're beyond help, a complete idiot. Stop calling me an idiot. What else can I say? Why? What did you say back then? The car and house are yours as alimony. We changed both the house and car to my name under that agreement, and I've sold both. The car too! I don't need a house or a car with your shadow lingering over them. We've replaced both. You understand what that means, right? That is, if you get it, then give up. I have no obligation to give you any money. But I'm really in trouble. Any amount, $200,000 or $400,000, just help me out for the sake of our past family. What? After everything you've put me through, you have the nerve to ask for $200,000 or $400,000? Absolutely not. And don't ever call me again. What? Got it. But the child support. Handle it through the lawyer. If you stop paying, I'll just get the lawyer to deal with it. Hey, wait. I'm fed up with dealing with you. After I hang up, I'm blocking you. What? If you keep making a scene, the neighbors might call the police. You're already known as a lousy husband. No way. Take care then, goodbye. I cut off the call without any hesitation. I immediately blocked that number. A few months after the blocking incident, I returned from maternity leave and, thankfully, resumed my previous role in the same department. It was chaotic catching up with work after the break, but I'm grateful to be surrounded by supportive colleagues, allowing me to work while raising my children as a single parent. It was tough for you during maternity leave, huh? Getting caught up in your husband's affair. I would have been mentally crushed and not ready to return to work. Julie commented during a leisurely lunch break at our favorite cafe. Well, yeah, I didn't expect things to turn so drastically during my leave, but I had a hunch it might end up like this. Right, he outright declared his affair, after all. It was insane, really. And to find out the other person was someone we knew. I got goosebumps when I found that out. That was the worst. After you informed me, the company was in complete chaos, you know? Sorry? No, it's not your fault. Thanks to you, we could weed out the troublemakers. The chaos was their doing, not yours. We both shared a wry smile over our cups. And then, your ex-husband gets arrested for stalking and breaking into a private property? That's just unbelievable. Yeah. I never thought he'd go that far. After that call, he started lurking around my parents' house, trying to find out where we moved. He targeted my kind mother instead of my strict father. The neighbors saw him as a threat, reported him multiple times, and eventually, he was arrested for forcefully entering my parents' home while following my mom. He should have been taking care of his own parents during that time. Your in-laws must feel so unfortunate. Indeed. Despite how he turned out, my in-laws are really kind and considerate people. It's still a mystery how they ended up with a son like that. That is. It's just as you pointed out back then. Yeah. I should have heeded your warning more seriously. But then again, if I had made a decision sooner, you might not have met your two little ones. It was tough, but maybe it all worked out in the end? Yeah, perhaps, yes. When I think about it, if I had pushed him away sooner, I might not have had my younger two children. Maybe I do owe him that much. And I'm only grateful for your supportive words from Julie. So, what happened to your in-laws? After all that, he didn't care for them and ended up getting arrested. They must have been left without any support, right? I got curious and called my mother-in-law. It turns out they've decided to move into a care facility. They had enough money saved up to afford 2 spots in the facility, plus selling the house took care of their financial needs. That makes sense. Even with home care and assistance, it's tough to continue caregiving for an elderly couple for long. I guess what you give out in life really does come back to you in the end. Jolie's last words truly resonate with me. Oh. Lynn, our lunch break is ending. That's right. Let's go. Having friends who stand by me with a smile and family and companions who support me fills me with gratitude. With a heartfelt thank you, I'm ready to recommit myself. Time to tackle the afternoon work. For the smiles of myself and everyone around me.